Were you sent by someone, lover? Are you ready for it? You should fly to London for the show. Don't go. You'll be way too anxious. Think of Tortured Poets Live. Think of the 8-hour plane ride. Florida! It'll be empowering to go alone. Everyone will think you're weird for going by yourself. What if the plane crashes? Planes are safer than cars. She just cheered, Captain. You'll regret going. You'll regret not going more. Think of the 8-hour plane ride.
Fine, I'll overcome my social anxiety, plane anxiety, fear of traveling alone, and general fragile self-esteem to fly to London to see the Eras Tour by myself. Let's go.
Got everything? Alright. Have a great time. I'll call you, or you'll call me when you're free, okay? Yeah. Alright. Love you.
Answer me.
Hello, Governor. You were saying something before.
I was saying answer me.
It was like 2 seconds. How was your flight?
It was good.
Did you get a window seat?
An aisle, but like in the, there were 3 rows, 3 columns of 3, and then I was in an aisle in the middle. Column. Yeah, I don't know. It was like, okay. I don't like not having something to lean up against. You want to see the Airbnb? Alright, I'm in the kitchen.
Okay, oh, you got a nice little window. And
yeah, she has a lot of, like, plants and nice windows. This is, like, the, I guess, work area, like, living room. Getting here was interesting, though. I got on the train fine, and then I had to take 1 transfer, and I got on that train, and then they were like, so we're canceling this train. So I got off and, like, had to figure out how to get out of the station, get service. It was only, like, a 35-minute walk to the place itself, so I was like, I'm just gonna walk. It took me on the strangest route. I was like, oh, I will just be walking on a sidewalk on a street. No, it took me like down to a canal, over like a bunch of cobblestone, upstairs, over the bridge, down the stairs, down the side to a park, and then there was a fork in the road. I could either take the cobblestone or what appeared to be a regular paved sidewalk. No, incorrect. It was a paved sidewalk over roots of trees. So it was like I was like, I can't make it. It's been 5 minutes and I had to take off my jacket, sit down, and eat the little granola bar that they gave me on the plane. And so I ended up calling an Uber.
Uber driver about your experience.
No, we sat in complete silence. Lucy!
Lucy, who's this?
My boy! Mwah. Hi, sir.
Oh, you hear Mom.
I got here at like 3 o'clock. I was so hungry that I was paralyzed by my hunger. I was like, I need to go get food, but I feel like I can't go get food because I'm so hungry.
You're so dramatic.
We have made it to London. I am so tired. I probably slept for 3 hours of like good sleep. Maybe not even that, like 2 hours of good sleep on the plane. And then when I finally got into my Airbnb, I had a moment of like, oh my god, why have I done this? I have to entertain myself for the next 4 days. It's just me and my brain. This is gonna be terrible. And then after like 20 minutes or so of panicking, I was like, no, let's turn this around. Let's do something we don't normally do and be a positive person. And I was like, we're gonna go to the store, we're gonna make some dinner, we're gonna have a glass of wine, we're gonna FaceTime David, we're gonna figure out what we're gonna do tomorrow. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have fun. And I was totally on board with that until I remembered that wine makes you tired. And I had about 3 sips and now I am tired. And I don't want to make dinner, but I'm starving. So we're gonna do it. We're gonna make dinner. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm probably just gonna go to sleep. My Airbnb has a trampoline in it. When I arrived, the host was like, yeah, my sister just got me this and it's kind of in the way, so sorry, but feel free to bounce. And I was like, no ma'am, it is not in the way and I will bounce. So if you can't tell, I'm feeling much more awake and actually more positive this morning. Granted, it is almost 1 o'clock and I have not left yet. So that's making me a little anxious, but we're trying to ignore it. I said I was gonna get up at 7 o'clock this morning, get a little work done, and then get out of here by 10 o'clock. And obviously that was a complete lie. I ended up sleeping until 10 a.m., which I did probably need the sleep. I'm just gonna put this here for a minute. Plan today is to go explore London, obviously, because what else do you do in London? Knock on wood, but I would say the most anxiety-inducing portions of this trip are done for me.
Nope. They're not.
The flight and then just figuring out how to get here is what made me the most nervous, and those parts are done. So now it's time to just explore on my own, which it is honestly crazy to think about the fact that I started this series at the beginning of this year just with the goal of getting out of my house to go to a coffee shop. And now I just flew across the Atlantic and I'm gonna explore a big city. A foreign city, kind of a foreign city. It's London. They speak English, they have lovely accents. They don't have good peanut butter, but otherwise they're not that much different from Americans. But yeah, I'm feeling good. You know, I was a little sad for a bit about coming alone on the plane trip over. I saw a bunch of girls with their friends, with their moms, with their families, and I was like, man, it kind of sucks that like my sister couldn't come, that like none of my friends could come. And it's not that nobody wanted to come, okay? I have people that like me. Just the timing wasn't really good for anybody because I did plan this kind of last minute. And honestly, I think I was meant to do it by myself. Like ultimately, this is what I've been working up to this year, trying to get myself out of my comfort zone again, trying to get back to being more comfortable with doing things that make me uncomfortable, because I do think I used to be very good at it and I just kind of lost it over the past couple of years. I got very complacent, very comfortable. As a result, my anxiety got worse about doing just like regular everyday things like going to a coffee shop, and I was like, I don't want to live like this. So that's really why I've been pushing myself so much, and this just feels like the perfect little cherry on top. So yes, I could have come here with friends, I could have come here with family, it would have been fun, probably, but it also feels right to be here on my own. So trying to embrace it, and let's get the hell out of this Airbnb and see the city. First stop is going to be Portobello Market. Got on the wrong bus, so that was a great start. So a bus just came. I stood up, clearly indicating I was going to get on it, and it just drove right past me. So I'm giving up. I'm just walking. Also, the first bus I got on that was wrong almost didn't let me on because there were too many people, and there was absolutely not. There was so much space. Is it me? Am I giving off the I don't want her on my bus sort of vibe? It is 5 p.m. and I'm literally about to eat a cinnamon roll for lunch. And yes, I know it's not lunchtime, but I have not eaten since breakfast. I also got a matcha lemonade from Bird and Blend Tea Company. Never had a matcha lemonade before. Pretty decent. Not gonna lie though, it did mostly just taste like lemonade. Take a hefty bite out of this. I walked around Portobello Market for probably like 45 minutes, an hour. I got a couple of rings, and honestly I expected to find it super overwhelming because markets are usually very busy, and it was busy, but I didn't find it that overwhelming. Maybe because it's not super hot out, so I don't have the heat making me angry, as well as the people making me angry. But then after that, I really just wandered around. Outside the busy areas, it's actually very quiet. Sorry, I gotta put my sunglasses on because the sun is like right in my eyeballs. I know you can't see my eyes now though, so you lose a little bit of my expression. I wandered over to a park, which actually ended up being quite popular, and so I walked around a little bit, I saw some flowers, and then I left. And I found this quieter park. There's literally nobody around, except for this girl and her dog. This cinnamon roll is from Buns from Home. It's quite literally not a bun from home, the bun from London. But yeah, so far as an anxious girly, I'm really enjoying London. I have been here before. I studied abroad here, but that was like 8 years ago. I really don't remember what it was like. I was also in a very different headspace then. And London is so huge. I really didn't see all that much of it outside of like going to school and whatnot. So I've already had a great time exploring. I know I spent pretty much the whole day just walking around parks, kind of like the Notting Hill area, and that's not really that much, but it satisfied me. So that's really all that matters. This is the way I got in here. I guess I'm locked in here now. Let's try to find another way. I'm just gonna walk along the road until I hopefully find another exit. Swear to God, if this doesn't open. Oh my God, how do I get out of here? At every exit, there are locked padlocks. I don't want to jump over this gate, but I will do it. I'm legitimately trapped in this park. Do you know how to get out of here? I guess I walked into one that was unlocked. I didn't know.
Where are you trying to get to?
Just out. So apparently I was very much not supposed to be in there. I happened upon the one gate that happened to be unlocked, and I locked it behind me. But a very nice older gentleman let me out and gave me a little history lesson of the place. I guess everyone around here pays to use the gardens, and I said he gave me a history lesson, and I don't remember what it was, to be honest, so it's just it's a current times lesson. But everyone pays to use the gardens, and then I guess there's a couple times a year they have like garden week or garden day or something, and all the private gardens in the city are open to the public, so I guess I should come back then. It does explain why there was like nobody in that park though, so I guess I got lucky. I really wish I would have asked that older gentleman more questions yesterday. Like, I was just thinking about it, and he was so sweet. Truly, he was probably the cutest old man I've ever seen in my whole life. Sorry, Grandpa. And he was asking me questions. He asked me what I was doing here, what I did for work, like all this stuff. He walked really slow, and I'm not saying that to be ageist or ableist, but because it's an important fact of the story. He walked so slow in such a cute way, but it just, to get from where he was sitting on his bench to the gate took, I'm not gonna lie, at least 5 times the amount of time it would have taken if I just walked there alone. So we had a lot of time to fill, a lot of time to chat. But all I was thinking in my head was, you've done something wrong. You've made a mistake. You're in this park and you're not supposed to be. And it's like deeply ingrained in me, really in the DNA for some reason, to not do anything wrong or make any mistakes. So I was like, I just need to get out of here. Like, this man was talking to me. I was recognizing that he was nice. I was like, you need to be as nice as possible to this gentleman. And so I was just answering his questions with as big of a smile as possible, and I kept saying, thank you for letting me out, thank you for letting me out, as if I was in a prison, not a well-kept garden. And I just wish I would have asked him, like, how long he lived there, or where he lived. Maybe not where he lived, that's a little creepy. Is it, though? I just wish I had asked him more. I feel like he had so much wisdom to share, and I always assume that I'm annoying people, like if I interrupt their day in any way, so I'm like, obviously this man wants to get rid of me, like he is annoyed because I'm an annoying person. Now looking back on it, I'm like, maybe he wasn't annoyed, like he was sitting in the park by himself. Maybe it was nice for him to have a little conversation with somebody. I feel like I just really missed out on some potential like grandpa wisdom. You know, I hate that my brain does that. Like, it just fixates on what's wrong and doesn't allow me to focus in the moment. So the fact that I was in there was honestly a gift. Like, it was very serendipitous that I met this old man. I have a feeling that those gates aren't typically accidentally unlocked. But, you know, what's done is done, and we gotta move on. So, lesson learned, if I meet any more grandpa-like figures in this city, I'm gonna ask them more questions. Also, if I meet just other people, it doesn't have to be grandpa figures. Anyways, today I'm gonna try to go to the Victoria and Albert Museum, see the Taylor Swift exhibit they've got there. I want to do a quick drive-by Big Ben, not a drive-by because I'll be walking, a walk-by, a stroll. I just want to take a walk by Big Ben, you know, see the quintessential London things, take some selfies, be a tourist, and then I'm gonna go meet my social media manager. 2 of them. There's 3 of them actually, but only 2 of them were able to meet me. They're based here in Europe. I think one of them lives around London, and I think the others are up near Edinburgh, Scotland. This will be my first time meeting them in person after working with them for about 2 years. So I'm a little nervous, but mostly excited. I'm feeling pretty good after yesterday. I feel like the whole day went pretty well in terms of my anxiety. Conquered the stupid bus system. I did actually get picked up by a bus on the way home, so that was a plus. I walked all around Notting Hill on my own. I walked around the market. I went into cafes. So trying to hold on to the confidence, bring it into today, and enjoy some socializing. And if I'm gonna get there on time, I need to get started now. This is such a long towel. Look at how long this towel is. I've never had a towel go past my knees. I wonder if they sell these at the big and tall stores. It's nice. I feel like a very securely wrapped burrito. It's Taylor Day. This is the most anxious I've been on this whole trip. Well, except for before the flight and the entire week leading up to it. Truly a week before. Oh, this isn't supposed to go on first. This is supposed to go on first. Truly a week leading up to it, I was so tense, I felt like I couldn't control my body correctly. I don't know if that makes sense. And I don't even want to know what my blood pressure was. And then day of, basically until I got on the plane, I just felt like sick to my stomach. And the way I kind of dealt with it was, I heard this piece of advice the other day. I was watching a YouTube video from Caroline Winkler. You guys would like her. If you like me, you would like her. She was like, when you're scared of something or nervous about something, just think about doing the physical steps that you have to do. Like, don't think about the emotions or the feelings around it. Just like physically, what do you need to do and can you do that? So I was like, physically, I just need to walk into the airport. I need to get my boarding pass. I need to take my shoes off. I need to do a little sniff to make sure my feet aren't stinky. I gotta push my bag through the magical screening device. I gotta put my shoes back on. I gotta find my gate, make sure it exists, and then I gotta wander around until I get on the plane. And so all I was thinking about was each physical step that I had to do. And I was trying not to think about all of them together, just like one at a time, because it made it feel less overwhelming. The past couple days that I've spent exploring, I really haven't been that anxious. The most anxiety-inducing part has probably just been the public transportation and not knowing if it's always gonna be reliable. And also how hot it is on the tube. Like, it was cold yesterday, straight up cold. And I got on the tube and I was sweating. And they've got signs everywhere being like, it's hot today, make sure you have a bottle of water. And I'm like, it is not hot today. That sign should just say, always have a bottle of water. And of course I didn't have a bottle of water, so I was a little bit worried about myself, especially at one point when the train stopped and wasn't going anywhere. Doors were closed, heat was seeping into my body, my mouth was going dry. I thought, what happens if I just keel over on the tube right now? I assumed some workers would have come got me and been like, did you read the sign? Why didn't you have a bottle of water? So anyways, today the anxiety is just coming from a lot of unknown. Like, I have a general admission floor seat, and I've seen people saying that you should start queuing at like 10 or 11 a.m. if you want a decent spot. But then I've seen comments of people being like, I had general admission and I got there at 4 p.m. when the doors opened and I had a perfectly good view. I can't see my face. Oh, I got so many scars. Another thing I'm anxious about is just being bored while I'm waiting in line, because I don't want to use my phone too much because I want to save the battery. I do have an additional charger, but my phone battery dies pretty quick, so I don't want to risk it. So like, I just don't know what I'm gonna do while I'm waiting. Just like sit and stare off into space. Yep. That's what you did. Basically, there'd be other people around, so I'm sure I could talk to people and trade bracelets and stuff. But just an hour and a half feels like a really long time to fill with just talking to people. You could be my favorite person in the entire world, and after about 30 minutes of talking to you, I'm probably like, yeah, I could use a break. Mildly concerned about the bathroom situation. Again, being on the floor, just, I don't know if I would get my spot back if I had to leave. And I know your question is now, Morgan, why did you do the floor if it's giving you all these anxieties? I love being on the floor of concerts. Granted, the States do it where they have assigned seats, which is lovely. I don't go to very many concerts, and when I do, I always have so much more fun when I'm closer to the artist. Like when they're so far away that you can only see them on a screen, it just feels like I'm watching them on TV. And so if I'm gonna go to a concert and I have full control over where I'm sitting, and I'm gonna sit in the area that's gonna bring me the most joy. Unfortunately, in this situation, it also brings me the most anxiety. Those two things can be true at once. But also the floor tickets were like half the price of the seated tickets, so just financially, it made more sense to give myself anxiety on the floor. I'm also quite anxious about getting back because it looks like madness outside of Wembley after the show is over. So I don't know, I may walk somewhere else and just try to get an Uber. It'll probably be a game time decision, which I hate because I like to know everything that's happening in advance ever. It's been a huge life problem for me. But yeah, you know, other than that, super excited. I'm going for the Reputation hair look, but I have not styled my hair like this in a very long time, so I have no idea if it is going to achieve the look that I am going for, or if I'm just gonna look like a poodle. I have not once in my life used a butterfly clip in my hair, and I'm not sure if now is the right time to experiment. I think this looks good. I just felt very compelled to do this hairstyle with my outfit. Oh my god, okay, that's... If I have no hair left by the end of tonight, it's because of these stupid things. Is this cutesy? Is this demure? I wish I had some sparkle. I have these bobby pins. I don't really know what to do with them though. Oh my god, have I been putting bobby pins in the wrong way this whole time? Are they supposed to go crinkly side down? Is the gem's on the other side? Now I'm questioning everything I've learned in my 28 years. What if we... Is that stupid? That's probably stupid. That looks stupid. Okay. Ow, ow. I'm not doing the bobby pins. I just learned life-changing news about them, and it's not good to do new things when you're shocked. All right, here's the look. I'm debating if I should bring my leather jacket or not because I don't know if my top is gonna be cold. It was cold yesterday, but now it feels hot because it's sunny. I'll probably be fine. I'm gonna be in a big group of people dancing. If I'm cold for a little bit while I'm leaving, I'll be okay. I think the hair turned out good. I didn't do that bad of a job for never having done this hairstyle ever. So, all right, I'm running kind of late, so let's go do this.
You can hear it in the silence. Romeo said we haven't been so long. I keep waiting for you, can feel it on the way home. You can see it with the lights out. You're in love. I said I've been there too a few times. You're in love. You can hear it in the silence.
I literally just ran home from the train station stop thing. It was so cold and it said it was a 17-minute walk, or I could have called an Uber, but I just like couldn't wait. Like I couldn't just stand anymore. I needed to be doing something, so I just ran. Also my toe is bleeding, so that's fun. Taylor sang Florida during the TTPD set, which was extremely cool. Florida. And then for the surprise song, she brought out Jack Antonoff, and they sang Death by a Thousand Cuts mashed up with Getaway Car.
So we were thinking maybe what we would do is we would do a few songs that were like sort of me and Jack's favorite ones that we've done together. Is that
alright? Which was amazing, mind-boggling, mind-blowing, all the mind things. But we can debrief more on the whole thing later, but I need to eat some food, and I just need to focus on getting home right now. I gotta get my shit together, and I gotta wake up in like 6 hours, so we'll catch up later. So I made it home. The plane didn't crash, I didn't get taken, I didn't have any mental breakdowns, and I managed to have some fun. So overall, a pretty successful trip. And honestly, I had an amazing time, but not every moment was amazing. Like, I had a ton of fun at the concert, but I was also really anxious the whole time about balancing hydration and needing to pee. I was happy to be there by myself, but I was also sad at times to be there by myself. My mouth was really dry most of the concert, and I was weirdly fixated on it. At one point, my toe started to hurt. When I got home, I realized it was bleeding the whole time. I spent a lot of time struggling between wanting to be in the moment and record, wanting to be in the moment or record. In the least narcissistic way possible, I really regret not asking people to take more pictures and photos. Pictures and photos are the same thing. Pictures and videos of me, because I had certain shots in mind for this video that I wanted, that had me in them, that would require somebody else to take them, and I was just too socially anxious to ask people. And like, being on the floor, there were so many people around, I didn't even know what was a good video or photo when you're just like, what's the word? Not salmoned. Sandwiched? What are the really tightly packed fish? Anchovies? Nope. Sardines, but close. You're like anchovied in there? Like, what even is a good picture in an anchovy situation? I don't know. But my point is, I have some regrets about this trip, but going isn't one of them. Like, despite all the things that I was super anxious about, I was still singing and dancing and having the best time. If I stayed home and saw that I missed Florida performed live, I probably would have vomited all over myself in self-hatred. Like, that was easily the coolest moment of the whole trip, was standing there realizing that she was singing Florida and that Florence was coming out and being able to do with 92,000 other people and Taylor. I didn't trade many friendship bracelets, which that's another regret. I wish I talked to more people. I wish I had initiated the trade more often. Like, actually the only trade that I did at the show was before the show, when I was on the train, because I had my headphones in and I didn't realize that the train was terminating early, and this girl saw me, recognized I was going to the show, and she was like, hey, you gotta get off this train with me right now, we gotta switch because this train's not gonna train anymore. And I was like, oh my god, thank you so much, you probably just saved me from a mental breakdown. And so we traded friendship bracelets, and even though it was only one trade, like, that story is ingrained in my mind. Like, I'm so appreciative of how nice that girl was. So I didn't trade many bracelets, but the one that I did was very high quality. I then also traded one on the way home later. Anyways, my point is that I was happy, I was excited, I was elated to be there, and at the same time I was sometimes sad and lonely and anxious about being there. And before I left for the trip, my therapist and I talked about how I could deal with negative emotions when they came up, because when I start to feel anxious in what is supposed to be a happy, fun situation, I get very upset with myself, because I'm like, why am I like this? I should be happy right now. And then my anxiety gets worse, and it's just a loop. My therapist told me to embrace the and. I can be happy and sad to be there by myself at the same time. And I tried to really focus on that while I was there, and honestly, it really did help. Like, being sad to be there alone was a totally normal feeling. Feeling anxious because I was around so many people is a totally normal feeling. But instead of beating myself up for feeling that way, I was like, you know what? These are rational emotions. Like, yes, I'm sad and anxious, and I'm happy. One may say I'm happy, for confused, and lonely at the same time. So anyways, last point. If you struggle with anxiety, if you feel like it's holding you back from experiencing life, just know that when you do the things that give you anxiety, it's not always going to feel perfect, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. Things are still going to feel scary. They're still going to make you anxious, but you're doing them and it's not killing you. And that's the amazing part. And you have to keep doing it. You have to keep doing the scary things, even if they're very little, because that's what's going to make you more resilient. Like, you may start with just leaving your house, just going to a coffee shop, just going to the library, but then one day you'll wake up and realize that you've flown across the country to go see a concert you really wanted to see by yourself, and that you lived. And in that moment, you'll realize that you have control over your anxiety now. It does not have control over you. And that's the dream for all us anxious girlies. So yeah, I'm proud of myself. And I hope that this video inspires at least one person to go do something that gives them anxiety, whether it is just a tiny thing like stepping outside or flying across the country or doing karaoke. I don't know, whatever you're scared of. I hope you feel inspired to try and take it on, because you may not feel like you have the ability to do it, but I know it's in you, and it may take a little time, but eventually you will be doing the things that give you anxiety too, and you will prove to yourself that it will not kill you. So, okay, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and make sure to subscribe if you want to see more of my face. And I just appreciate you so much for being here and watching and just being part of my life in general. So, okay, I will see you in the next video. Bye. Also, Tay's sweatshirt goes very well with the aesthetic of my living room. That's all. Just want to make sure you knew.